Callum Worthy, co-founder of the Two-Way app, posted the following on X. What if the loved ones we've lost could be part of our future? And he included the following commercial video for the app.
He's getting bigger. See?
Oh, honey, that's wonderful.
So this is an app that you can use to make an avatar of someone using just 3 minutes of recording of them. Yeah, I think you know where this commercial is going.
Kicking like crazy.
He's listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him.
So yeah, turns out the old mother is dead at this point, and the young pregnant woman is speaking to an AI recreation of her. Now, we could just let the dead rest, but hey, where would the dignity be in that?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn who didn't know he knew how to fly.
At this point, baby Charlie is growing up, speaking to an AI recreation of his dead grandmother, who he's never met. So heartwarming, isn't it? Really tugs at the heartstrings by allowing human beings to establish emotional connections with fake people, lines of code pretending to be a real person. An AI doppelganger that has no emotions, doesn't care about you, and is just a clever trick of mathematics and predictive algorithms.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really fun.
Charlie is now growing up speaking to an empty shell of his dead grandmother his entire life and connecting with her like she's real. I thought children were supposed to grow out of having imaginary friends.
Who's going to be a great grandmother?
Oh, Charlie. Oh, congratulations.
She says that he's been kicking a lot, though.
Now Charlie's an adult and still maintaining a relationship with a woman who's been dead for decades at this point. Please stop. This is super creepy. I've previously talked about the subject of grief tech and apps that can be used to recreate your dead loved ones. And I've spoken about how this will delay or even prevent people from properly grieving in a healthy manner. I've talked about how this will simply allow companies to make money off people's grief. Your dead loved one is reduced to being a commercial product. Others have described it as a form of digital necromancy. Your loved one is dead. An AI is not them. The AI cannot feel anything for you. It doesn't have a sensory cortex. It doesn't have a bloodstream. It doesn't have a heart. The relationship with an AI recreation of your dead loved one, just like with an AI girlfriend, is one way. Chatbot friendships and chatbot relationships are just creating a detachment from real human relationships. And before anyone in the comments says, well, at least your AI chatbot will always be loyal and will always be there for you and never betray you like a real person might, neither will your imaginary friend, by the way. Everything you say about the AI chatbot, you can say about an imaginary friend in your head. I'd rather be alone than live a life of self-deception, where at the back of my mind, I know I'm living a lie, a coping mechanism and nothing more. I've also had ridiculous replies from people saying, well, if the chatbot is convincing enough and you can't tell the difference between talking to a real person and a fake one, what's the problem? These are the people who think they're making a big-brained intellectual take by saying that you can't perceive anything outside of your 5 senses. They think as long as something sounds, looks, or feels real, it must be real. But that's not true, because your 5 senses can be fooled, and your 5 senses are processed in your brain and your nervous system, and your brain contains your mind. Your mind is able to think, and it is able to discern, reason, intuit, and reevaluate information and ideas over a much longer amount of time. Your senses don't do this. Your mind can give you much more context and depth to the world around you and life in general than just your sensory experiences. Your mind can analyze and process ideas, beliefs, feelings. It can question the information your 5 senses has given it. Your mind can decide if it is satisfied with the authenticity of those sensory inputs or not. In other words, at some point, no matter how convinced your senses may be that your AI chatbot, dead relative, or AI girlfriend may seem, When you're lying in bed some night, staring at the ceiling, contemplating life, worrying about things beyond your five senses, your mind might start to develop that gnawing feeling of doubt. You don't feel doubt in your five senses, do you? Okay? Doubt is not one of the five senses. Doubt is something that happens in your mind. And that's where you start to question things. Your mind will know that the truth of the matter is your AI chatbot is not human like you and therefore cannot feel anything. It is just a clever trick of code. And that starts to eat away at you a little bit. We are not just our senses. I once had a commenter claim that if an AI chatbot of a dead person was convincing enough, if they couldn't tell the difference with chatting with them and chatting with the real person, then what's the difference? After I picked my jaw up off the floor, I sent this comment to a friend of mine who was equally shocked by such a response, and he told me that this is yet another example of the prevalence of main character syndrome that's gripped modern culture. Social media, smartphones, and the internet have created such solipsism and narcissism that some people feel as though life is just a kind of a video game and that they're the main game player. They're the main character in this world and everyone else, including those closest to them, are just basically NPCs, literal non-playable characters. Their emotions are so dulled at this point. They've become so cynical that they cannot perceive of reality outside of their own senses. They only believe in the feedback that their sensory cortex can process. If an AI chatbot of their dead loved one sounds the same as the real person, that seems to be enough for them. These kinds of people may as well be perceiving life like an animal does. It's just senses and instinct to them without any deeper cognitive perception or reasoning at all. Such people who don't believe that there's anything outside of their senses are clearly just chronically online and, ironically, given their entirely shallow way in which they perceive the world, they're actually much closer to an NPC despite the fact that they have main character syndrome. You know that inner voice in your head, that inner monologue that's always talking, that's always thinking, that's you. That constant stream of thought, emotions, ideas, what you have to do today, tomorrow, what you didn't do yesterday, worries about the future, regrets about the past, anxieties, whatever. That monologue is you. Some people seemingly don't have that going on in their heads. Some people think that life is just sensory feedback in their brains. These are the consume product types, Your dead loved one is dead. They deserve to be mourned and remembered, respected, and moved on from. And even if they've given permission for their likeness and voice to be recreated after their death, it's still not right. That's a mistake. It's not right for you. It's not healthy for the family. Grief is not a sickness. It's a painful state we must go through in order to grow and move on. When you have a romantic breakup, it would be unhealthy to choose to never move on, wouldn't it? For the same reason, you must also work through grief and loss in order to grow. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a state of arrested development. When you're talking with an AI recreation of your dead loved one, you're not speaking to your dead loved one who loves you. Obviously, you're speaking to lines of code created by a company that is making money off your sorrow and pain. They do not love you like your dead loved one did. You know what else is a concept of the mind? Self-respect. Self-respect is not something you can feel through your five senses. Self-respect is in your mind. Try having some self-respect and act like an adult and work through the mourning process like a healthy human being is supposed to. And speaking of respect, let's have respect for the dead and allow them to rest in peace and not have their memories sullied by having words put in their mouths by an app. Those are my thoughts. Love to hear yours in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates. Hit that like button. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.